Today is a special lecture by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada on the occasion of Vijayadashami, followed by Vaishnava song and a reading about Madhvacharyas.
This morning I was reading about Sita Devi being kidnapped by Ravana. Now, because there was not Ramchandra present and Lakhan was also not present, she was unguarded and Ravana took the opportunity to kidnap her. So, even Sita Devi, she is goddess of fortune. She is the spiritual potency of Lord Ramchandra. She is not ordinary woman, but showing us the example that in Sita Devi is the original potency. Of course, Ravan could not kidnap Sita Devi as she is. That is not possible. This is described in another Purana, that when Ravana came to kidnap Sita, Sita Devi disappeared from there and she kept a Maya form, false form, and Ravana kidnapped. This is stated in very authoritative scripture. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in South India, a Brahmana invited him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at noontime went there, but he saw the Brahmana has not cooked anything. There was nothing prepared, and he was crying and reading Ramayana. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired, the Brahmana, why you are in such a depressed condition, you are crying? And sir, you are in the ecstasy of Hanuman, that I am so unfortunate that Sita Devi has been taken by Ravana and I could not rescue her still. In this way, he was puzzled. She did not cook anything. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pacified him. Then he could understand that I invited. It was done. Then when he was returning, I forget the name of the Purana, Purma Purana, he got evidences that Sita Devi, when she was supposed to be kidnapped by Ravana, a false form was kidnapped. And when Sita Devi was tested, putting her into the fire, she entered into the fire and the Maya Sita was burned and the original Sita came. So it was not possible for Ravana to touch even the lotus feet of Mother Sita, but apparently it is externally manifested that Sita was taken away just to teach us that in Sita Devi is the origin of all potencies of the Supreme Personality of God. Chit Shakti, Parasu Shakti, Vividhaiva Sriyate, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has got many potencies, multi-potencies, and one of the potencies is Alladini Shakti, pleasure potency. That pleasure potency is Sita, Radharani, Lakshmi Devi. This has been described by Swarup Damodar Goswami Radha Krishna Pranaya Viditi Alladini Shakti Rasma Ekatmanavapi Deho Bhedu Gato. These are described. That the Krishna's pleasure potency, Radharani, is Krishna. But to take pleasure, they become two. Ekatmanavapi Deho Bhedu Gato. They become divided into two, Radha and Krishna. Again, Sri Chaitanya Prakata, when Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Radha Krishna combined together. Therefore, the devotees of Radha Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they worship Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anna. They say. This is the fact. Lord Ramchandra is also Krishna. Sita Devi is also expansion of Radharani. They are the same tattva. Ramadi Murti Sikala Niyamena Tishthan Nana Avataram Akarat Bhuvani Sukintu Krishna Sayam Samavavat Paramapumanatu Govindamadi Prudham Tama. So, here the example that even Sita Devi, the direct potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she is showing that without being protected, she can be ravished, she can be kidnapped, she can be misused by the Rakshas. This is it. Sita Devi was quite competent, but this is it. Another example is that because Lord Ramchandra took Sita in the forest from moral principle, he should not have taken Sita. Pathe nari vibhajya. The moral principle is that when you are going out of home, you should not take your wife with you. Pathe nari vibhajya. Because there may be so many dangers. That actually happened. Sita Devi, because Lord Ramchandra was ordered to go to the forest. Not Sita Devi, neither anyone, neither Lakshmana. They, out of their own affection for Lord Ramchandra, they decided to go with him. But because Sita Devi went with Ramchandra, so many catastrophes happened. She was kidnapped, and there was fight, and the whole dynasty of Ravana was killed, and so many things happened. So, this instruction that Pathe Nari Vibhajya. And another lesson is even Lord Ramchandra, he was attached. Naturally, one is attached to his wife. So if we become attached to a woman, then we have to face so many dangers. This is another instruction. Even Lord Ramchandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and still he had to accept so many troubles. They were loitering in the forest, feeling the separation of Sita Devi, so many things happened. So, Mama Sabha, there, women are very simple, soft-hearted. The whole idea is they should be given protection, no freedom. That is injunction of the Manu Samhita. Nasyam satantatam arhati. Women should not be given freedom. They must be protected. Not that sometimes we receive the complaint in foreign countries, they say that you keep your women like slaves. So I replied, we do not keep our women as slaves. They are very respectful at home. The sons offer their highest respect to the mother. The husband gives the topmost protection to the wife. This is the example, just like Lord Ramchandra. Lord Ramchandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Ravana took Sita from his protection. Ramchandra could marry many millions of Sitas, or he could create many millions of Sita. But he is showing the example that it is the husband's duty to give protection to the wife at any cost. And he did it. For one woman, he killed the whole Ravan dynasty. This is husband's duty. So, protection, not slave. It is protection. The husband should give to the wife the topmost protection, and the wife should be so faithful to the husband that Sita Devi, she was king's daughter, Vijayadashami. She was the daughter, she was not a poor man's daughter. And Dasaratha Maharaj did not ask her to go to the forest with her husband. She could easily say, my dear husband, you are going to the forest, I am king's daughter, I cannot take so much trouble. Better you go, let me go to my father's house. No. I shall take all the troubles with my husband. This is faithfulness. Similarly, Draupadi. Draupadi also went with the Pandavas in the forest when they were banished. And Kunti Devi also went with her sons in the forest. This is the system. Kunti Devi had nothing to do with the gambling of Pandavas and Dussehra. But because the sons were to go to the forest, the Malan also followed, and the wife also followed. This is Vedic system.
On this auspicious occasion of Srila Madhvacharya's appearance day, we shall be reading few of his life, the incidents that happened in his life and his preaching activities. So we will begin with a prayer that is a glorification verse by Srila Baladev Vidyabhushana from Prameya Ratnavali. Please repeat after me. Ananda Tirtha Nama Sukhamaya Dhama Yatirjiyat Samsararnava Taranim Yamiha Janaha Kirtayanti Buddhaha. Translation. All glories to Srila Madhvacharya Swami, the abode of transcendental happiness. Those who are learned and intelligent glorify him, for he is like a boat which enables the conditioned souls to cross beyond this realm of repeated birth and death. This verse offers glorification of Sri Madhvacharya, known as Ananda Tirtha. He is described as the dwelling place of bliss and a victory. The wise recognize him as a divine boat that helps souls cross the vast ocean of repeated birth and death. So this was the prayer offered by Sri Baladev Vidyabhushana. So now this is room conversation on 11th March 1972 in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada, on Vaishnava calendar description. Srila Prabhupada is saying, Vijayadashami, appearance date of Srila Madhvacharya, and the victory day of Lord Ramachandra. So there is no fasting, but in the evening we should celebrate some feasting and discuss about the life and works of Sri Madhvacharya, as well as Ramayana incidents where Lord Rama and Ravana fought. So this was a room conversation with Srila Prabhupada. Now we shall begin pastimes of Sripad Madhvacharya. This is an excerpt from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 9, text 245, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sripad Madhvacharya took his birth near Udupi, which is situated in the South Kannada district of South India, just west of Sahyadri. This is the chief city of the South Kannada province and is near the city of Bangalore, which is situated to the south of Udupi. Near the city of Udupi is a place called Pajaka Kshetra, where Madhvacharya took his birth in a Shivalli Brahman dynasty as the son of Madhyageha Bhatta in the year 1040 Shakabda, that is AD 1118. According to some, he was born in the year 1160 Shakabda, that is AD 1238. So there were slight differences in certain recordings. In his childhood, Madhvacharya was known as Vasudeva, and there are some wonderful stories surrounding him. It is said that once, when his father had piled up many debts, Madhvacharya converted tamarind seeds into actual coins to pay them off. When he was 5 years old, he was offered the sacred thread. A demon named Maniman lived near his abode in the form of a snake, and at the age of 5, Madhvacharya killed that snake with the toe of his left foot. When his mother was very much disturbed, he would appear before her in one jump immediately, and he would appear before her. He was a great scholar even in childhood, and although his father did not agree, he accepted sannyas at the age of 12. Upon receiving sannyasa from Achyuta Preksha, he received the name Purna Prajna Tirtha. After traveling all over India, he finally discussed scriptures with Vidyashankara, the exalted leader of Sringeri Matha. Vidyashankar was actually diminished in the presence of Madhvacharya. Accompanied by Satyatirtha, Madhvacharya went to Badrikashram. It was there that he met Srila Vyasadeva and explained his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita before him. Thus, he became a great scholar by studying before Vyasadeva. By the time he came to the Ananda Matha from Badrikashram, Madhvacharya had finished his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. His companion Satyatirtha wrote down the entire commentary. When Madhvacharya returned from Badrikashram, he went to Ganjama, which is on the bank of the river Godavari. There, he met with two learned scholars named Shobana Bhatta and Swami Shastri. Later, these scholars became known in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya as Padmanabha Tirtha and Narahari Tirtha. When he returned to Udupi, he would sometimes bathe in the ocean. On such an occasion, he composed a prayer in 5 chapters. Next is very interesting how the deity of Udupi Sri Krishna was obtained. Once, while sitting beside the sea, engrossed in meditation upon Lord Sri Krishna, he saw that a large boat containing goods for Dwaraka was in danger. So there was some hurricane, and then there was some danger to the ship. Madhvacharya gave some signs by which the boat could approach the shore, and it was saved. The owners of the boat wanted to give him a present, and at the time Madhvacharya agreed to take some gopi chandan. He received a big lump of gopi chandan, and as it was being brought to him, it broke apart and revealed a large deity of Lord Krishna. The deity had a stick in one hand and a lump of food in the other. Shri Udupi Krishna ki jai. As soon as Madhvacharya received the deity of Krishna in this way, he composed a prayer immediately. The deity was so heavy that not even 30 people could lift it. Yet Madhvacharya personally brought this deity to Udupi single-handedly. 8 of Madhvacharya's sannyasa disciples became directors of his 8 monasteries. Worship of the Lord Krishna deity is still going on at Udupi according to the plans Madhvacharya established. So Madhvacharya installed the deity and then Ashtamatas he established. Even till today the deity worship is going on. Madhvacharya then for the second time visited Badrika Ashram. While he was passing through Maharashtra, the local king was digging a big lake for the public benefit. As Madhvacharya passed through that area with his disciples, he was also obliged to help in the excavation. And with the help of Madhvacharya, immediately the water appeared in that particular lake. So after some time, when Madhvacharya visited the king, he engaged the king in that work and departed with his disciples. So the king was very pleased with the service attitude of Madhvacharya. Often in the province of Ganga Pradesha, there were fights between Hindus and Muslims. The Hindus were on one bank of the river and the Muslims on the other. Due to the community tension, no boat was available for crossing the river. The Muslim soldiers were always stopping passengers on the other side, but Madhvacharya did not care for these soldiers. He crossed the river anyway, and when he met the soldiers on the other side, he was brought before the king. The Muslim king was so pleased with him that he wanted to give him a kingdom and some money, but Madhvacharya refused. So Madhvacharya speaks to him in his own language, Persian language, very fluently, and then the king was very pleased and he wanted to offer him half of his kingdom, but Madhvacharya refused at that point. While walking on the road, he was attacked by some dacoits, but by his bodily strength, he killed them all. When his companion Satyatirtha was attacked by a tiger, Madhvacharya separated them by virtue of his great strength. When he met Vyasadeva, he received from him the Shaligrama Shila known as Ashtamurti. After this, he summarized the Mahabharata called and also wrote a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavata Tatpara Nirnaya. Madhvacharya's devotion to the Lord and his erudite scholarship became known throughout India. Consequently, the owners of the Sringeri Mutt, established by Adi Shankaracharya, became a little perturbed. At that time, the followers of Shankaracharya were afraid of Madhvacharya's rising power, and they began to tease Madhvacharya's disciples in many ways. There was even an attempt to prove that the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya was not in line with Vedic principles. A person named Pundarika Puri, a follower of the Mayavada philosophy of Shankaracharya, came before Madhvacharya to discuss the Shastras. It is said that all of Madhvacharya's books were taken away, but later they were found with the help of King Jayasimha, ruler of Kumla. In discussion, Pundarika Puri was defeated by Madhvacharya. A great personality named Trivikramacharya, who was a resident of Vishnu became Madhvacharya's disciple, and his son later became Narayanacharya, the composer of Sri Madhva Vijaya. After the passing away of Trivikramacharya, the younger brother of Narayanacharya took sannyas and later became known as Vishnu Tirtha. So he wrote a biography on Srila Madhvacharya. It was reputed that there was no limit to the bodily strength of Purna Prajna or Madhvacharya. There was a person named Kadanjari who was famed for possessing the strength of 30 men. Madhvacharya placed the big toe of his foot upon the ground and asked the man to separate it from the ground. But the great strong man could not do so even after great effort. Thus he was defeated. Srila Madhvacharya passed from this material world at the age of 80 while writing a commentary on the Aitareya Upanishad. For further information about Madhvacharya, one should read Madhva Vijaya by Narayanacharya. The Acharyas of the Madhva Sampradaya established Udupi as the chief center, and the monastery there was known as Uttaradi Mutt. A list of the different centers of the Madhvacharya Sampradaya can be found at Udupi, and their Mata commanders are as follows. Okay, so this was the founding Pitadipatis of Ashtamatas. Vishnu Tirtha of Sodemat, Janardhana Tirtha, Krishnapura Mata, Vamana Tirtha, Kaniyuru Mata, Narsimha Tirtha, Adumar Mata, Upendra Tirtha, Puttige Mata, Rama Tirtha, Shirur Mata, Rishikesha Tirtha, Palimar Mata, Akshobhya Tirtha, Pejavar Mata. So like that, each Mata had different set of disciples and then there is a list of disciples like that. Yes. So the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is a disciplic succession from Madhvacharya. So this is from excerpt from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.6 and 7 purport. The passing away of Bhishmadeva in the presence of Lord Krishna. Narad Muni is the principal Devarshi or the chief sage amongst the demigods. He is the son and disciple of Brahmaji, and from him the disciplic succession in the line of Brahma has been spread. He initiated Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj and many celebrated devotees of the Lord. He initiated even Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedic literatures, and from Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya was initiated, and thus the Madhva Sampradaya, in which the Gaudiya Sampradaya is also included, has spread all over the universe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonged to this Madhva Sampradaya. Therefore, Brahmaji, Narada, Vyasa, down to Madhva, Chaitanya and the Goswamis all belong to the same line of disciplic succession, which we just heard in the Vaishnava song, the entire list of Guru Parampara. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 6.40. Sri Madhavendra Puri is one of the Acharyas in the disciplic succession from Madhvacharya. Madhavendra Puri had two principal disciples, Ishwar Puri and Sri Advaita Prabhu. Therefore, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is a disciplic succession from Madhvacharya. This fact has been accepted in the authorized books known as Gaura Ganodesha Deepika by Kavi Karnapura Goswami and Prameya Ratnavali, as well as by Gopala Guru Goswami. Prameya Ratnavali by Gopala Guru Goswami. The Gaura Ganodesha Deepika verse 22 clearly states the disciplic succession of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas as follows. Lord Brahma is the direct disciple of Vishnu, the Lord of the spiritual sky. His disciple is Narada, Narada's disciple is Vyasa, and Vyasa's disciples are Shukadev Goswami and Madhvacharya. Padmanabha Acharya is the disciple of Madhvacharya, and Narahari is the disciple of Padmanabha Acharya. Madhava is the disciple of Narahari, Akshobhya is the direct disciple of Madhava, and Jayatirtha is the disciple of Akshobhya. Jayatirtha's disciple is Jnana Sindhu, and his disciple is Mahanidhi. Vidyanidhi is the disciple of Mahanidhi, and Rajendra is the disciple of Vidyanidhi. Jayadharma is the disciple of Rajendra. Purushottama is the disciple of Jayadharma. Shriman Lakshmipati is the disciple of Vyasatirtha, who is the disciple of Purushottama. And Madhavendra Puri is the disciple of Lakshmipati. In the Antalila, Chaitanya Charitamrita 2.95, it is said, in the Brahma Sampradaya, Madhvacharya's Purna Prajna Bhashya establishes Shuddha Dvaitavada, whereas Sri Ramanujacharya presented his philosophy as Vishishta Dvaitavada, and Sri Madhvacharya presented his philosophy also known as Tattvavada, both of which are stumbling blocks to the Mayavadis because they defeat their philosophy in scrupulous detail. So, Vaishnava philosophies easily defeated the Mayavadi philosophies. And this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, 4th chapter, text 197. Out of the four Sampradayas, the Sri Madhvacharya Sampradaya was accepted by Madhavendra Puri. Thus he took sannyas according to parampara, the disciplic succession beginning from Madhvacharya down to the spiritual master of Madhavendra Puri, the Acharya named Lakshmipati. There was no realization of devotional service in conjugal love. Sri Madhavendra Puri introduced the conception of conjugal love for the first time in the Madhvacharya Sampradaya, and this conclusion of the Madhvacharya Sampradaya was revealed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he toured southern India and met the Tattvavadis who supposedly belonged to the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. Okay, and yes, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, 9th chapter, texts 288 and 89. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya, up to the advent of His Holiness Sripada Lakshmipati Tirtha, only Lord Krishna was worshipped. After Srila Madhavendra Puri, worship of both Radha and Krishna was established. For this reason, Sri Madhavendra Puri is accepted as a root of worship in ecstatic love. Unless one is connected to the disciplic succession of Madhavendra Puri, there is no possibility of awakening the symptoms of ecstatic love. So now Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's South India tour, visiting Udupi and meeting the Tattvavadis. Tattvavadi saha kaila tattvera vichar, apana ke hina buddhi hai latan sabar. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, text 1, chapter 1, text 114. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also had a discussion with the Tattvavadi community, and the Tattvavadis felt themselves to be inferior Vaishnavas. Purport. The Tattvavadi sect belongs to Madhvacharya's Vaishnava community, but its behavior differs from the strict followers of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There is one monastery named Uttaradi Mat, and one of its commanders was named Raghuvarya Tirtha Madhvacharya. So Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they are actually offspring of Madhvacharya's original sampradaya, but because of Madhavendra Puri, this worship of Radha Krishna started, and love of Godhead. There is slight improvisation, more refinement in the deeper aspects of bhakti. So at the time, all the South Indian Vaishnavas were worshippers of Lord Ramachandra. Some were Tattvavadis and some were followers of Ramanujacharya. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out that the word Tattvavadi refers to the followers of Srila Madhvacharya. To distinguish his disciplic succession from the Mayavadi followers of Shankaracharya, Srila Madhvacharya named his party the Tattvavadis. Impersonal monists are always attacked by these Tattvavadis who attempt to defeat their philosophy of impersonalism. Generally, they establish the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya is known as the Brahma Vaishnava sect, that is, the sect coming down from Lord Brahma. Srila Madhavendra Puri was one of the Acharyas in the Tattvavada disciplic succession, and he established the ultimate goal of transcendentalism to be attainment of pure devotional service, love of Godhead. Those Vaishnavas belonging to the Gaudiya Sampradaya, the disciplic succession following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are distinct from the Tattvavadis, although they belong to the same Tattvavada Sampradaya. The followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are therefore known as the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And there is a very interesting info on the Sri Sita Rama Chandra deities. Lord Sri Ramachandra ordered his younger brother Lakshmana to deliver a pair of Sita Rama deities to the Brahmana. The Brahmana received the deities from Sri Lakshmana ji and worshipped them faithfully as long as he lived. So this is, personally when Lord Ramachandra was present, which was the yuga? Which was Treta Yuga, yes. So at the time of his death, he delivered the deities to Sri Hanumanji, who for many years hung them around his neck and served them with all devotion. After many years, when Hanumanji departed on the hill known as Gandhamadana, he delivered these deities to Bhimasena, one of the Pandavas, and Bhimasena brought them to his palace where he kept them very carefully. The last king of the Pandavas, Kshemakanta, worshipped the deities in that palace. Later, the same deities were kept in custody of the kings of Orissa known as Gajapatis. One of the Acharyas, known as Narahari Tirtha, who was in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya, received these deities from the king of Orissa. It may be noted that these particular deities of Rama and Sita have been worshipped from the time of King Ikshvaku. Indeed, they were worshipped by the royal princes even before the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. Later, during Lord Ramachandra's presence, the deities were worshipped by Lakshmana. It is said that just 3 months before his disappearance, Sri Madhvacharya received these deities and installed them in the Udupi temple. Since then, the deities have been worshipped by the Madhvacharya Sampradaya at one of the particular monasteries there, one of the 8 original Ashtamatas which was established by Madhvacharya himself. One of them has these deities even today. So then, some references. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Udupi, the place of Madhvacharya, where the philosophers known as Tattvavadis resided. There he saw the deity of Lord Krishna and became mad with ecstasy. These are some extracts from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 9. While at the Udupi monastery, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw dancing Gopal, a most beautiful deity. This deity appeared to Madhvacharya in a dream. And same thing is recorded, how the Gopi Chandan, was obtained from that ship, and then Madhvacharya installed it. So that was some of the interesting pastimes on Srila Madhvacharya, and how his strong preaching, fearless preaching, was able to defeat the Mayavadis very easily. And on this auspicious occasion of his appearance day, we pray to him that he shall bless us to be steadfast in our devotional service and have unflinching faith in the process of bhakti, thereby pleasing him and praising Srila Prabhupada. So we'll stop here. Shri Madhvacharya ki, Shri Ramachandra Vijayotsav ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.